The Hyundai Stargazer X was launched in the Philippines in 2023 as the new top-spec variant to the Hyundai Stargazer. It expands the model lineup, bringing futuristic looks but with a tougher SUV-like appeal, competing with the likes of the Honda BRV and Mitsubishi Xpander Cross, thanks to its 1,348,000 Philippine peso price point. So, does it have what it takes to bring the nameplate to new horizons? Let's find out. This is the Hyundai Stargazer X. Let's review it! Based on the regular Stargazer, Hyundai has given this a more SUV-like design thanks to a different hood, a new grille, and a new bumper. Oh, and before I forget, they actually changed the silver accent to black here as well on the LED headlights. Unfortunately though, the fog lights are still halogen and the signal lights are halogen as well. So moving on to the side, Hyundai has made the Stargazer tougher thanks to the addition of body cladding here and at the back. Now it does come with a different set of 17-inch wheels, which kind of looks like a star or a snowflake depending on how you look at it, wrapped in Goodyear Assurance Triple Max tires, which have a 205/50 size. Now this gives it a little bit more of a stiffer ride compared to the regular Stargazer, but it looks way better though. Pretty neat. Anyway, moving on, you do get repeaters here on the side mirror, a more body cladding down here, and of course a new black side skirt. On the regular Stargazer, this is silver, and ground clearance has also increased to 200 millimeters, which is actually great. Well, not as great as the Xpander Cross, but close enough. Anyway, let's go to the back. At the back, it looks much like the regular Stargazer with its H-shaped tail lights, but the brake lights are unfortunately still halogen. Aside from that though, it does have this nifty spoiler up here which distinguishes it from the regular model, and of course the bumper is different as well. It now comes with this black accent back here, and of course a new sort of lower diffuser which looks a bit tougher, continuing the diagonal and fin-like design that you can see in the front of the car. Anyway, with that said, let's check out the rear of the car. So when I say rear, I mean the trunk of the car. In terms of cargo capacity, with the third row up, you are looking at around 200 liters worth of space with this tray in place. But if you do open her up, you do get more storage options down here where you can fit smaller items like shoes or whatever else you might need. Of course, the space back here does double up when you fold the third row. And if you follow the second row, you're looking at more than 1,000 liters worth of space. In context, that's about 2 balikbayan boxes in the second row and 1 balikbayan box back here. That said, let's head inside. So Hyundai has listened to its customers and has changed the interior of the Stargazer X and all the regular Stargazer models. The cowl here is now shiny black instead of matte silver, and the dashboard has been changed to black as well, but it still rocks the same kind of material. Of course, the manual air conditioning controls with knobs down here also comes with the shiny black accents. But Hyundai has retained the digital display cluster here, and of course the 8-inch infotainment system that comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's actually pretty responsive to use and easy to navigate with all the nice buttons here. And it also doubles as your display for your reverse camera as well. Moving on, Hyundai also has retained the wireless charger in the top spec GLS premium model, sorry, but has removed the manual handbrake and gave it a electronic parking brake with auto hold, which comes in useful in traffic. As for the steering wheel controls, well, they're the same as the premium model with tilt and the telescopic functions. And well, the horn is a little bit weak. It's something that I'd expect from a smaller city car like, I don't know, maybe a Brio or something. There's that. Anyway, let's move to the second row. Before I forget though, just like the Stargazer GLS Premium, this does come with leather seats with a red piping here and red stitching as well. Oh, and there's a red accent here to distinguish it from the rest of the lineup. Space in the back is generous. You have plenty of legroom and headroom as well. Pretty great stuff. Oh, and if you want to give more room to the people in the back, you can slide the seats forward and back as well. It does also come with a armrest with no cup holders and a tray table here just for this specific passenger. On this side, you don't have any tray tables, but you do get a lot of pockets where you can store random stuff. You also have 2 USB charging ports down here as well if you want to charge whatever items you need to do. If you are looking for the cup holders, they are located on the door sidings here, which is reasonably sized for bottles like that. So getting into the third row isn't a graceful experience, but thankfully the seats fold and tumble forward, giving me more room to get into the car. And relax, I'm not gonna step on the back seats of this guy. Anyway, putting the second row down. So space back here is limited if the person in the front isn't generous. Knee room is limited to about 2 inches for me, and headroom is around 3 or 4. Of course, the rear seats can also be reclined a little bit further, giving me a little more room back here. Foot room is an issue though, because you don't really have much space with the seats second row in place. There is enough room for like your feet to fit underneath the seats, but then it's again limited, and if you're with somebody else, well, it's gonna be a tight fit. But with regards to toys, you don't get a lot back here aside from 2 cup holders on either side and little cubby holes here for storage. One thing that the camera might not be able to see is there's a slot on the storage on the right side which can fit like a small iPad of sorts, and of course there is a 12-volt socket as well for charging purposes. Anyway, with that out of the way and the third row finished, let's go for a drive. So we are now driving the Hyundai Stargazer X on, well, a twisty mountain road, and what I can tell you is handling is decent for what it is, because it's powered by a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated gasoline engine that produces 115 horsepower and 144 newton meters of torque. Power is sent to the front wheels via a IVT, intelligent variable transmission, or just a fancy way of saying it's a smart CVT. However though, you can notice that there's a lack of power, especially when you're going uphill. Now, it's not the transmission's fault, it's just that the tuning of it is a little bit underwhelming. So you really have to push the throttle pedal a little bit harder when you're doing uphill sections like what we are doing right now. It's not evident, but this is actually on an uphill. You can remedy that by going into sport mode, which will liven up the throttle a bit. But again, it's still limited to the output of the engine. As for cornering, well, the car does have some body roll, but it sort of stops halfway and then settles, and then the rear of the car will kick in to let you corner faster. You can attribute that handling to its lower profile tires compared to the regular GLS premium variant. So there's a little bit of an edge there despite the increase in ground clearance. Aside from that, the manual mode is lively enough. It does come with simulated gears because this is a CVT. So it upshifts and downshifts fairly quickly for what it is. So if you put the power down, well, yeah, it takes a little bit of a time for it to accelerate, despite being in manual and in sport mode as well. As for fuel economy though, you are looking at 7 to 10 kilometers per liter in the city, 7 being the worst and of course 10 being the highest, in heavy to light traffic conditions. As for the highway though, you are going to have, well, around 15 kilometers per liter on a busier day if with a lot of traffic on the expressway. And if it opens up, you're gonna look at around 18 on a good day. That being said though, it's actually decent numbers, but not as high as some of its competitors, which can do around 20 kilometers per liter. That said, it's still pretty decent. Anyway, now that the driving's done, let's move on over to the conclusion.
The Hyundai Stargazer X presents itself as the balanced choice for those looking to get a well-spec'd 7-seater MPV with SUV-like looks. It may not have the power of the Honda BR-V or the ground clearance of the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross, but it is smack dab in the middle of both in terms of its specifications and features. The Stargazer X is for those who want a little bit of everything without being overwhelmed by loads of technology. It also has plenty of storage spaces and sports a comfortable ride, and carries a futuristic design as well. All in all, it is a 7-seater that should be on your shortlist if you're looking for one.